Now, All Things Real Estate continues on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN. Once again, here's your hosts, Gary Kelly and Brad Avergon.
Hi, I'm Gary Kelly, and I'm joined by
Brad Avergon.
So I'm with Remax Executive Realty, and Brad is with
Envision Bank and Mortgage.
So sometimes people say to me, Gary, why do you do the radio show? And I think it's so that Brad and I have something to do the third Sunday of every month at 8:30 on 8:30 to listen to ourselves. That's what I really think it is.
We're our biggest fans.
I'll give you an example of why right now in this market, it's a different market than we've seen in ages. We continue to run at a very low inventory level. What's very low mean? Roughly half of what it was for the last few years. So it's a feeding frenzy out there. And interest rates are lower than they've ever been before, at least in my lifetime. How about yours, Brad?
Well, let me put my teeth in. Hang on. No, I would agree. I've never seen interest rates as low as they are now for purchase money. Absolutely.
So at a personal level, Brad and I end up spending a lot of time on weekends working with buyers. We don't get to spend a lot of time necessarily enjoying ourselves, etc. It's just the nature of our business. And I will share with you that a couple of weekends ago, Brad called me up and said, let's go for a ride in the car. Well, I immediately said, no, I can't do that. And then thought a little bit, called him back and said, listen, there's no reason why we can't do it, but I've got a showing at a specific time. And I said, Brad, if you're okay going to a showing, come on along. And so Brad said that was great. So we got together, got in the car, top down, air blowing through both my hair. That's a joke. And we drove around for a little bit and then went to a showing. And the showing was in Northborough, as it turned out. And it was a nice ranch house. And as it turned out, the buyer and the two buyers, they split up. And so we had Mr. Buyer, and Mrs. Buyer was off tending to an ill dog somewhere. So Mr. Buyer goes through the house. It's a for sale by owner property, which is always interesting, just to start with. And it turned out that the Mr. Buyer really liked the house. And the seller who was there doing the showings, because that's what for sale by owner is all about, the seller was willing to chat for a bit and talk to us about offers and where their pricing was and what would work and what wouldn't work. So Mr. Buyer calls Mrs. Buyer and she comes running over. In the interim, Brad is talking about how to structure a deal. Now, it turns out that the buyers already had a loan officer with the same company, but not Brad. But Brad spent his time on Sunday helping them understand what a deal could look like. And I don't think most mortgage guys would go take that time. And I just think that that's a testament to who Brad is. So Brad.
Thank you.
How do you like that go for a ride stuff?
Oh my gosh. I'll go for a ride with you any day, Gary.
Brad specifically wanted to go for a ride and get fish. Did we ever get fish?
I don't remember. Did we? No, we never made it to the fish store. I think I had to call my wife and tell her I was working, which didn't surprise her, and that she was going to have to make the fish run.
It almost became a filet-o-fish kind of day. And so I share that story to talk about the type of loan officer Brad is, because frankly, Brad would never allow that topic to come up as a topic because he's too humble for that. But one of the things that distinguishes Brad is that he answers the phone. He calls people back. I had one occasion where I had a buyer, I was showing a property in Leicester. He was working with a different loan officer. The different loan officer wasn't available. It's just that simple. It's a Saturday, and it turned out he was out playing golf, didn't answer his phone. The guy wanted to buy the house. I called Brad. Brad answered the phone. Guess who got the deal? So, Brad, why don't you talk a little bit about some of your philosophies about how you run your business? Because I don't think our listeners would necessarily know that.
Oh, well, thank you, Gary. Thank you for this opportunity. This is like completely by surprise. So
that was the idea. If we,
you're right.
Scripted show, it's not going to go well.
This is a terrible topic, Gary. We shouldn't talk about it. That's what I would have said to you. Thanks. So my philosophy is that, we are you and I try to work together to help our clients win the situation, to win in whatever they're trying to do. And sometimes, a lot of times, that's about real estate, but sometimes it's beyond real estate. Sometimes somebody may call you or me and say, I need an electrician, or I need a carpenter, or I need something. And I'm happy to help with that. And I guess my thinking is that, if you, in this crazy world we find ourselves in, if you put it out there, if you really try to help people, that's life. That's what real living is about. That's why I love what I do, And so for me, that means I got to be there. Like, I'd love to be able to work a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job, but that's not the way my life is. That's not my commitment, and my passion for what I do and helping people drives me to be more available. The only phone number on my business card is my cell phone number. And so people call me nights and weekends and things like that, and I want them to do that. If they've got something on their mind and they need my help, that's, I think, what distinguishes me from a lot of my competitors. My approach is pretty holistic, meaning I look at their whole financial picture. I don't just look at, I want to buy a house and here's my mortgage balance, or here's what I make for a living and such, and I want this much mortgage. I'm going to have a conversation with them and really make sure that they're in a winning situation. I don't want somebody ending up in foreclosure or something like that. So I like to really get to know my clients, talk to them, and try to help them, and then be there for them when they need it. I think you're the same way. I mean, that's why you and I work well together, and I think that's why our clients benefit. Would you agree?
Well, I do think it's one of the things that differentiates us, and we come at this, and we could have a long debate as to why this is. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Where did you grow up?
Framingham.
I won't hold that against you. I worked in Framingham for years. I like Framingham. We grew up in different areas, different regions, and I don't know if it's our upbringing, our work ethic, but we are there. It's not that you can't go out and play golf once in a while, because you can. It's more that we need to. I have this thing that I say to Sue, and it's it actually came from Wellington Management, that for me the focus is client, firm, self. So I always try to put the client first, then Remax, and then myself. And that means that there are a number of times where you make some personal sacrifices for doing the right thing for the client. And when it comes together, it's really satisfying. When it doesn't come together, you kind of kick yourself. It's frustrating. At least that's what I find. How about you, Brad?
You know what? It's funny that you bring that up. So we talk about our quote unquote Sunday drive to get out and get some fresh air that turned into a business. I was so excited, honestly, for those clients, and they were your clients, and I was happy. I was just as happy to help them, knowing another loan officer was going to get it. Because the truth is, I wanted them to win. I wanted them to have a great, satisfying experience. And their situation was somewhat technical. Without going into details on it, it was not an easy deal. But to me, those pieces of the puzzle came together very quickly in my mind. And I was able to kind of say, okay, this is what you do, and this is how we can structure it. And then talk about a way to make their offer more attractive so they would get that particular property that there were multiple bidders on, right? We knew that going in. There was a line out the door of people coming into this property. And I wanted those clients to win. And so that excitement is that's just who I am. I'd love to get the deal, but if another loan officer is getting it, that's fine. Just let the clients win. And that's why I even talked to you afterwards, like, hey, did they get it? Did it all work out? And that stuff makes me happy. I think if you put that out there all the time, that's
two things that struck me about that. One is that you offered to call their loan officer, who is in the same company, and walk that loan officer through what you had envisioned. No pun intended. It just came out that way. But the other thing is, you and I actually had stopped for coffee at La Java, and the people that were the buyers said, they sent a text. This is starting to get a little too complicated. We're not going to do the deal. And you and I hopped in the car, drove to the house, and said, why not? And we walked them through it. I'm going to say walk them back from the cliff, calm them down, and they have signed a P&S on that property that we were talking about. And there's someone signing a P&S on their property today. And hopefully in the next month or so, it's all going to come together for them. I'm really happy for them. And that's something where you could easily have said, Gary, sorry, I want to go for a car ride to the fish place today, and we're off doing something else. And for me, it was fun because I want to help people. It's about helping people.
We helped that seller get a really good buyer who was sound. We helped that buyer structure a deal. I remember even conversations that said I would talk to the buyers, whoever needed to be talked to, parents or whatever, whoever needs to be chatted with, I'll be happy to chat with them and talk about how this can all work smoothly and how clients can end up winning. And that I think that energy, that satisfaction with trying to help people is contagious. I think buyers and even sellers can sense when you're being sincere or if it's baloney. You know what I mean? And I was just as happy doing that. Happy.
So Brad, I want to end this segment right now, and then we're going to come back and talk about some other folks and some of our experiences with them. But I'd like to thank you for helping them. And Brad, if someone wanted to reach you, how would they reach you?
Best way to reach me is by cell phone, and that's area code 978-375-5531. Or you can email me at bavergon, that's BAVERGON, @envisionbank.com.
Sounds good, Brad. We'll see you in the second half.
All right, sounds good, Gary.
You've been listening to All Things Real Estate on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.